KMET.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the Internet stream.
The Inner Voice Show is a dialogue between the host and the listeners about their relationships. This show is not an attempt to assess, diagnose, or treat any mental health or illness condition. Please consult your physician, psychiatrist, or psychotherapist for personal matters.
Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inner Voice Show. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine and have Sean in studio. Well, it is the first show. Yes, it's the first show in 2019. So let's start with getting you healthy. I know I'm going to scare you a little bit, but I promise you by the end of this show, you're going to know how to become healthy again. So this show is actually about what matters in life, mostly in our mind, thoughts, feelings, actions, relationships, and our fulfillment in this beautiful journey of life. Now, today, we're going to be bringing you the latest research on the psychiatric effect of environment and chemical toxins. And then I'll talk to you and Tonya Harris. She's a board certified in holistic nutrition. What a great way to start the year, huh? And then Sepi Shyne, she's an attorney at law and an activist, and she's running for a position. So you got to wait to see. It's exciting. She is the first at everything you can ever imagine. So it's great to be able to talk to her. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the latest research.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the Internet stream.
Dr. Foojan Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com.
Let's talk about toxins. An article in Psychiatric Times points to the psychiatric effects of environmental and chemical toxins. Dr. Joel Ning discusses assessments of lead toxicity in children. He points out that levels above 5 DL requires clinical interventions, and that level lower than one have been associated with behavioral problems, including ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Now, the importance of this finding, it was reflected by the Flint, Michigan drinking water crisis, in which 99,000 residents were potentially exposed to lead contamination water between 2014 and 15. Two studies have since confirmed that the incidence of elevated lead levels in children younger than 6 years has nearly doubled since the contamination. Now, research trends highlights the possible role of prenatal lead exposure in adult onset of schizophrenia and the association of adult lead levels with mental disorders and the cause of mental disturbances by unexpected lead sources, including so-called moonshine. Dr. Anna Mostisnitska researched on illicit drugs that continue to pose severe risk for behavioral changes from neurotoxicity. Drugs such as ecstasy, which a lot of the teens and young adults are using, are often adulterated with methamphetamine. Some of the medications have methamphetamines in them. And these are solvent abuse that results in altered mental status and potentially lethal physical abnormalities remain a frequent presentation in emergency settings. Occupational exposures also to various solvent also results in neuropsychiatric injury. Contaminants, including thallium or infectious agents such as anthrax, can be consumed with illicit drugs. Methamphetamines are also considered an emerging contaminant of water, a term that describes growing numbers of toxins that enter human environment, especially through surface water. Now, Dr. Rosengall and Dr. Fry point out a growing body of scientific literature associated symptoms of autism spectrum disorder, ASD, with environmental toxin exposure, including exposures from contaminants in herbal remedies, including the ones from the use of Ayurvedic herbs. Herbal supplements, both pure and adulterated, continue to appear in conjunction with the cases of psychosis, and mania, and anxiety, and depression. Recently, depression has been linked to a relatively new phenomena, which is the exposure to wide area of toxins. Studies also show that certain environmental and chemical toxins may alter the brain in a way that helps set depression in motion. Toxins can come from insecticides, herbicide, personal care product, thousands of other industrial and household chemicals. Pesticides. Research shows pesticide exposure may lead to depression and anxiety and psychiatric disorders. The most typical source of pesticides exposure for an average American is the conventionally grown food they put on their plates every day. Now, heavy metals are also creating depression. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, the three substances that have the greatest impact on human health are mercury, lead, and arsenic. And exposure to these toxic metals are known to cause anxiety and depression. You can trace the origins of these particular toxins to industrial factories, dental amalgams, welding equipment, cigarette smoke, and old galvanizing water pipes. So heavy metal toxicity can disturb your brain chemistry, causing depression and anxiety. It can also significantly weaken the immune system. And the other part was prescription drugs. Yes, some of the medications that you use also may cause depression and anxiety. And then they'll give you antidepressant and anti-anxiety in order to take those off. Well, have I scared you enough? No, it's scary. Some of the things that are out there are scary. But we're lucky because my first guest, she's Tonya Harris. She's a board certified in holistic nutrition. And she's a childhood leukemia survivor. So she's really worked on this on her own body and is telling you from her own experience. She's a mother of 3. And Tonya Harris is the founder of Slightly Greener, offering busy moms simple and doable solutions to reducing toxins, one product at a time. Tonya has been writing about toxins and their health effect since 2008. And in addition to board certification, a master's degree in holistic nutrition, she holds multiple certificates in the environmental health field. When she's not busting toxic products, Tonya can be found spending time with her family or raising money for her organization, Clubs to Cure Kids, from which she has donated over $160,000 for childhood cancer research and family support programs. You can find her at slightlygreener.com. and we'll be back to talk to Tonya. Maybe she can show us really quick way and simple way of how to get toxin free at our home.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
Have you ever wished you could just wake up one day, reach across your nightstand, and hit the life reset button? Let's face it, the struggles and frustrations of everyday life leave millions of women and men around the globe yearning for a new way. And the new way is right here in Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want by Dr. Foojan Zeine. You can get it now at Foojan.com or Amazon.com. Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want. You deserve it.
Hello again. Welcome back. You are listening to Inner Voice, and I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine, and I am excited because she's going to make me less scared, and all of you, since I scared all of you at the beginning of 2019. Tonya Harris. She is board certified in nutrition, and welcome, Tonya.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. So, tell me what holistic nutrition is this first.
Oh, sure. Well, it's basically understanding how things work in the body individually, how each person is different, and kind of getting to the root cause. And I've always talked about toxins going way back to 2006. And once I saw how things worked with my own family and the results I had, I decided to go into holistic nutrition so that not only did I understand the food part, but also how these things act in the body and how certain people react differently to different things. So I thought it was so interesting. So, sure, it's individual.
So, Tonya, let me tell you, about 10 years ago, I freaked out because my body wasn't feeling good, and I kept going to urgent care and emergency, and I stopped smoking cigarette after almost like 20 some years, and my body was going through a lot. And I just decided, since I'm quitting smoking, I'm going to quit a lot of stuff. So I no longer put nail polish. I didn't color my hair. I just went all cleaned up. It was really hard to live, by the way, because I would, my body was so sensitive then. I would sit down with clients in the small rooms, and every little smell would get me so upset, or I would go outside and everything would get me so upset. So I slowly but surely started back in life with all the toxins that are there. But then I also, now recently, it's like I'm getting rashes everywhere again. I'm like, okay, there's just too many toxics around that I'm trying to look at again. And it's like, you go from one extreme to the other. And I know, listening to some of your videos, that you were in media, and they said the same thing. Like, we go into this extreme fear and complete okay, that's it. We're not doing anything. And it doesn't work. You can't live that way. So it's like you are here to rescue me and everybody who's listening in what is a moderate way and simple ways of looking at which toxin really affect our health and as an adult or as a child, and how to recognize them and what to do.
Well, I'm so glad you pointed that out too, because I also started out way too crazy, drove myself nuts, drove my family crazy. I'm lucky they still talk to me, honestly. But so what I've done is come up with some simple steps, because it is so hard to know. And so many people do have that all or nothing attitude about it. But the good news is that it's even those small steps that can have a big impact on our family's health. And one of the things I do like to say is that these toxins, while they do affect all of us pretty much in the same way, so when I talk about the health effects that it has on a child, it pretty much has the same health effects as an adult. But the thing is that children are more susceptible to these toxins. And I had cancer growing up as a child. I was diagnosed with leukemia actually 37 years ago this week, so right before my 7th birthday. And so the thing is, children are more susceptible to these toxins because they don't have detoxification pathways that are developed enough to detox these chemicals and flush them out of the body as quickly as an adult can. And their skin is thinner and they're more closely tied to their environment, because we think of our toddlers crawling on the floor, they're licking their hands, they're, putting everything in their mouths. So really what I like to say is, especially with our kids, we really have to watch these things because they do tolerate these chemicals differently than an adult can.
Very much. So we've talked about toxins that are in food with pesticides and the way that, food are made. And obviously we could go organic, but even organic necessarily does not promise that they don't have any toxins. Then we also have it in products, which are health products, beside food, any other type of, cleaning products that are around. And then we also have the beauty or products that we use on our own body, or, detergents, many of these things that you're consistently using and we have no idea what they are. Or even when we were in construction or home, everything in here, I remember they were painting and I walked in and my whole hands and my body started itching for 3 days. I could not figure out what it was about and what it was for. I just knew I just didn't want to be in my home, which I just made and I wanted to be in. So what are your thoughts about all of this? Because sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm powerless against all of this, whatever. But I think there are some ways.
Oh, there are. And I actually came up with a method, I call it, just to kind of make it a little easier. I call it the READ method, READ, because there are so many things that we can do. And again, for me, it's not, we can't avoid everything. It would be expensive. And plus we just can't. So one of the biggest things that I think has a good impact too is what we want to do is lessen our toxic burden or our toxic load in our bodies. And that's basically when we take in more toxins than we can get rid of. So that's, that can cause rashes, that can cause so many different things. These toxins are linked to so many different health issues. So for that READ method, I think one of the first things you can do is READ, and that's replace plastics around your foods and beverages. So they have chemicals in them, well, plastic chemicals, first of all, some of these foods and beverage containers, and that can leach things such as phthalates and BPA into the foods, especially if you're placing hot foods into them or putting these items into the dishwasher. That plastic can actually help these plastic chemicals leach. And these chemicals are linked to even lower IQ in children and behavior issues, but they're also acting as endocrine disruptors, which, long story short, they can mimic or block hormones in your body. And there's a hormone for pretty much every function of your body. The endocrine system regulates every single function of the body. So one thing I would recommend is looking at your plastic food containers and your reusable plastic water bottles and replacing those with glass and stainless steel options. And so you don't have to do everything all at once. Look at your top 1 or 2 most used food containers and water bottles and replace those first with a safer option is one of the first things we can do. And that'll get rid of a lot of the hormone disruptors that I just talked about too. A second thing you can do is, you just mentioned it too, is eat organic as much as possible. And it's true, we can't guarantee that there's no pesticide residues, but there are less pesticide residues. And I know there's been going back and forth between some studies on is organic really worth it? but the studies I've seen do show that they have more nutrients. So I always like to err on the side of what's better. So for me, it's worth it. And it's not sustainable for everyone, but they've shown that if you can eat organic for as little as 3 days, that you can dramatically lower the pesticide residues in your body. And those pesticides, again, can be full of hormone disruptors, which I just mentioned, that can get in the way of your hormones doing their jobs. So if you can't eat organic, the Environmental Working Group has a great source, and I think they're at ewg.org, and you can look at their Dirty Dozen or their Clean 15 list. And the Dirty Dozen has the pesticides with the highest residues. I mean, the produce with the highest pesticide residues. So those are the ones you're going to want to buy organic as often as possible. And
now, are these, Tonya, are these also on your website, or should we go to another website?
The links are on my website in a resource library I have at the top menu, but it does take you to the Environmental Working Group's website, ewg.org. And
ewg.org. Okay, and your website is?
slightlygreener.com.
Great, thank you. Okay, so we have replacement of plastic for food and beverage, and then we have eat organic. Now we're at A.
A, yep. And that is avoid artificial fragrance, which this is a tougher one because fragrance is in everything, but fragrance is actually one word, but it can be made up of dozens of different chemicals. And some of those are attached to be linking to be toxic to the brain and nervous system, or allergenic, or, can cause respiratory issues. So one thing we want to do is avoid the word fragrance on products if we can. And that includes even not using candles or air fresheners in our homes because they're full of toxic chemicals, most of them, and that can even include formaldehyde, which we know is a known cancer causer. So if we can avoid regular scented candles, plug-ins, and air fresheners, that's one big thing that we can do to our homes that can lessen headaches. And they have phthalates in those too, and those phthalates are the ones that were linked to lower IQ and behavior issues in children. So there's something else that can kind of maybe lessen the symptom of. And then hold
on. How are we going to smell good then?
I know. Well, I was a candle addict. So I do choose a safer burning candle, and I save them for special occasions because, again, I like to make sure that people know it's not all or nothing all the time. So if you have a candle, just buy a safer brand that maybe has a scent you like and use it for special occasions. But I like to diffuse essential oils, actually.
Okay, good.
Yep. So essential oils is a good one. Yep. Also,
yeah. We can't handle being stinky all the time. At least you don't put any perfume, don't put anything around. I'm like, okay, I have to keep taking a shower and the whole world to keep taking a shower every 15 minutes.
Well, one thing I did is I'm lucky I live in a town that has one of my favorite essential oils, and they have aroma mists, and I use that as perfume. So
okay.
I'll put a roll-on scent, like a citrusy. It's really good, or I don't know, but I'll use something like that. And also opening the windows as often as we can, because even cleaning products have all that artificial fragrance, and they're letting off chemicals into the air even when they're not being used.
Okay.
Yep.
Now D.
Okay, D is destroy dust. So dust, I know it's surprising. Dust is actually one of the biggest exposures to chemicals in the home. Yeah. So surprisingly enough, they've done studies and they've found things like flame retardants, which can they've been linked to lower IQ, behavior problems, and endocrine disruption, hormone disruption too, and lead. So lead is actually a source. They found it in dust. And then hormone disruptors and things like phthalates that I've talked about. So that can just be in your regular household dust. So rather than dusting your house top to bottom every day, I know that's not possible, and I don't do it. Concentrate mostly on the places where your family spends the most time. So like in the family room, bedrooms especially, because that's where your body heals at night, and especially on your kids' play areas, the floors, and make sure you're damp and dusting and mopping. Because if you're dry dusting, that's just kind of pushing dust around.
Right.
Yeah. So always make sure it's damp. And then vacuum with a HEPA filter. And another easy thing you can do is even take your shoes off when you enter your home.
Yeah. This one we did. We put all of the shoes actually in the garage. So we come in and we put all of them in the cabinets in the garage. So they're kind of, closed up over there, but at least we're not walking around the house with that. So that we've done. It took me a while because that's not that convenient all the time, but then guests come in and go, and what are you going to do? Just take everybody's shoes off. They probably hate it when you do that. I know that there's a lot of diseases that have come up, not only for children. Right before you came on, I was talking about the latest research as far as even psychiatric, depression, anxiety, ADHD, and even autism, that it's consistently being talked about, and how toxins are helping to further them, and then have them a lot. But also a lot of the autoimmune disease symptoms are coming up for very, very young adults, especially young females, that are raising a lot of issues because of the toxins. And I know that one of the first things that the physicians are letting them know, and many of my clients who are young adult females who are being diagnosed by autoimmune disease symptoms, they're saying to them that the first thing they need to do is to get rid of toxins. And it's amazing that when they do, how much they feel better. And many people who unfortunately get diagnosed by cancer, like you were as your child, immediately after that, they change every aspect of their home and their systems around to be able to be clean. So tell us about your journey through this, because you had your personal journey, and that's how you became so aware of the toxins in the environment and around you.
Right. And I guess my journey actually started 37 years ago when I was diagnosed with leukemia. Again, it was 2 weeks before my 7th birthday. I did 3 years of chemo and was considered cured around the age of 16. And I was treated a little bit differently too. Back then, I was treated by research rather than the current protocols. So for one thing, they weren't even sure if I was going to be able to have kids, but I have 3 and they're amazing. And that's really what set me again on this path. But when I was growing up, I was always told to be careful what you eat, because I don't think back then we were as aware of toxins as we are now. And I don't think there were the same. So when my son was in 2nd grade, he was actually starting to show some signs of attention issues. And the teacher called me and wanted to test him for ADHD. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was from way back then, being told to be careful what I eat. Something in me just said, I'm not ready for this yet. And I asked for a couple weeks, and I went home and I researched so many things. And back in 2006, it wasn't as easy. Things weren't as readily available online, but I did find things such as artificial colors and benzoate preservatives were 2 big things that can contribute to attention and behavior issues. So it took those out of his diet. And I think it was 3 weeks later, I went back into the school and they didn't want to test him anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I was floored. So I came home, I did more research. I bought all these natural and organic products, did a lot more research because then I was hooked. And I realized, oh my gosh, you can slap the word natural on anything and it doesn't mean it's natural, even organic, unless it's got the USDA organic seal. Organic doesn't even mean that it's that much safer for you. So I basically decided to start looking into toxins more and realizing it's also what you put on your body and around your body that's just as important as what you eat. And that's basically when I decided to go back to school so I could really understand what these chemicals are doing in the body. So not only from a nutrition standpoint, that's why I chose holistic nutrition, but also just biochemically and as an individual, what we can do to help ourselves and our kids. And I wanted to be able to help other parents do the same with the results that I had seen in my own children.
So Tonya, how do you live outside of your home? Because I remember for those years that I was becoming very, very clean, it was very difficult to go to restaurants, go to everybody else's house, socialize with other people who weren't necessarily this, health conscious, or they didn't need to do all of that. And it became very restrictive. And that's part of why I wanted to live in an environment and society. So I came back into all of this toxins again, let's say, because the environment is not toxin free. I think recently, I quit smoking about 15 years ago. And, you can see the culture has shifted where you're not supposed to smoke outside and it's a secondhand smoke and all of that. But that's only one area. And yes, organic food is getting more hip, and there you have them in every grocery store now, and it's easier to get. But still, it becomes very, very hard to maintain this outside of your home. What do you do?
Well, one thing I recommend is following an 80-20 rule or even a 90-10 rule, because I think it applies here too. 80-20 applies to just about anything. But I like to buy organic products and keep organic around me, or not organic, just safer products in general, 80% of the time. So then that 20% of the time, we don't have to worry about it so much, because I travel a lot, but I bring my own products. And the good news is once you start living this lifestyle and you realize what brands you can buy and which brands you don't particularly care for, it becomes automatic and it becomes really easy. So I just recommend, I buy my stuff in larger sizes, and sometimes I even buy the travel size so I can bring things with me. Same thing as when we were on a special diet for a while there, I would bring those foods with me to places. And most people understand, especially if you explain to them why you're doing it, they're understanding. So what I recommend is just bringing your own stuff as many places as you can. But if you don't have a severe medical condition, I'd say count that as maybe your 20% of the time. Whereas if you're doing 80% of the time safer, then you don't have to worry about that 20% you don't have control over.
So everyone who's listening and viewing us can go to slightlygreener.com. I know that you also have products there. I saw that there are makeup products there. There are different types of products where you could also buy it from the slightlygreener.com, or it'll send you to a resource websites where we could get that, right?
Right. I don't personally sell any of those products, but it's a link to ones that I've carefully vetted the ingredients of that I think are safer. And I'm coming out with my new updated Safer Brands to Buy guide pretty soon that will have links to, I think it's over 300 different products.
And you have a 3-week program, right? That if somebody doesn't really know what to do, they can actually sign up for your program, and you'll take them step at a time in what to do in their home and for their body and with their food, right?
Correct. Yep. I actually have it. It's 3 weeks because I don't want to overwhelm. So I just jumpstart with the main areas, the kitchen, which is food, bathroom, personal care, and beauty products, and then cleaning products. And then by the end of that, they should already see improvements. Hopefully, if they have symptoms, they'll see improvements already. But just to make it nice and easy jumping off point.
So before you leave, I want to say again, for people to read. 1, go for it. R.
Replace plastics around your foods and beverages.
E.
Eat organic as often as possible.
A.
Avoid artificial fragrance.
And D.
Destroy dust.
Okay. Now, if you want our listeners and viewers to know something about you, what would that be?
About me?
Yeah, about you. You were my guest.
I was not expecting this one.
I know I like to surprise you.
Oh, yeah, that did surprise me. I don't even know what would be surprising about me. I think I just threw it all out there. Okay. Well, I have 3 kids. My son's about to be 21. He's home for break right now, and my obsession lately is Mario Kart.
What? Is it what?
Mario Kart. Oh. Throw that out there. I'm awesome. Next month. I don't know if it should be business or personal, so I threw out both.
Beautiful. And if there is the last thing that you want everybody who's listening and watching to know about slightlygreener.com and all the toxins that are out there and how to take care of them, anything that we haven't touched upon that you really want them to know?
I think the main thing I'd like people to know is that, again, this is not an all or nothing lifestyle, and that there's so many companies that are listening, and there's so many great products out there now that are truly safer, and to take away that mom guilt. Because I think once we learn these things, that it's really easy for us to be like, well, I gave my kid this, or I did this, and I've got those same stories, but we could just do the best we can with what we know at the time. And, again, 80-20 rule. If you can do this a majority of the time, you don't have to worry about it 100% of the time.
Wonderful. Everyone, please go to slightlygreener.com and meet Tonya Harris there, and check out her 3-week program about teaching you step by step in how to become toxin free, or at least less toxins around your house, around your body and your environment, and to live a healthier life. Thank you so much, Tonya, for being on my show. And it was a joy, and I learned a lot. And definitely I'm going to start with 80-20 concept of read, and I'll go to my kitchen right after this and handle it that way. And let's go step by step, and most probably with the products and beauty products and the essential oils. And I think that I can probably try to do this by this week. I promise you, starting 2019, this is what I want to do.
Awesome. That's exciting. I love hearing that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tonya. Take good care of yourself. And everyone, don't go anywhere. We're going to be back with Sepi Shyne. She's an Iranian-American lawyer, energy healer, small business owner, and when elected, she will be the first LGBTQ Iranian-American elected official in the entire United States. She's been a resident of West Hollywood for over a decade, and she serves in the City of West Hollywood Advisory Board. And she's actually running for her civil rights advocacy spans nearly 2 decades. She served as the co-president of the LGBT Bar Association of Los Angeles, and she's actually running for the city. So don't go anywhere. This is exciting. A first of everything and the beginning of 2019. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And Tonya, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Have you ever wished you could just wake up one day, reach across your nightstand, and hit the life reset button? Let's face it, the struggles and frustrations of everyday life leave millions of women and men around the globe yearning for a new way. And the new way is right here in Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want, by Dr. Foojan Zeine. You can get it now at Foojan.com or Amazon.com. Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want. You deserve it.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the Internet stream.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
Hi, this is Matt Ray with America's First News, heard each weekday morning right here from Washington to Wall Street and covering the world. We bring you the latest news, analysis, interviews, and commentary. What about the opinion, you ask? Well, we leave that one up to you. So grab the coffee and let's go. Join me each weekday morning right here for America's First News with me, Matt Ray.
Weekday mornings, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. right here on KMET AM 1490.
Dr. Foojan Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com.
Hey, this is Paul Amadeus Lane, and I want you to take a journey with me to the Mecca of Technology, CES 2019. We will be broadcasting from the show floor Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. and Thursday at 3 p.m. I will keep you up to date on the latest trends and gadgets from the show floor live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Make sure you watch everything on KMET TV on live stream so you won't miss out on all the fun. Tune in, Tech Zone live from CES 2019. Get up to the minute forecast and temperatures for Beaumont, Banning, Redlands, Palm Springs, your community, national or international cities on KMET's website, KMET1490am.com. The station now features AccuWeather. AccuWeather offers weekend and extended forecasts along with the latest radar map and current conditions. AccuWeather on KMET1490am.com. Logged in every morning for your daily forecast.
Founded in 1908, the Record Gazette has been the leader in local news, local sports, and local events in the San Gorgonio Pass area. The paper is published every Friday, delivered to over 20,000 local homes and businesses in Banning, Beaumont, Cherry Valley, Sun Lakes, and Cabazon. The Record Gazette reaches more households than any other newspaper in this market. Call 951-849-4586 for home delivery or online at recordgazette.net. Pick up this week's edition with the KMET sports schedule inside.
When you want the best performance for your vehicle, think only of Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, right off the I-10 and 60 freeways. Check out Scott's complete list of performance products on their website at hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers can recommend ways for your car or truck to get better gas mileage and cut down on emissions. Need your car or truck to pass smog only? Go to Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont. Find out all of your questions on vehicle performance by logging on to hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont. hdrinfo.com.
The Constitution is America's owner's manual. Douglas V. Gibbs is America's Constitution Authority, broadcasting live on KMET AM 1490 Saturdays at 1 p.m.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Foojan Zeine, and you're listening to Inner Voice. And now we have Sepi Shyne. Shin. I got to ask her last name. I keep calling her Shane. Is an Iranian-American attorney, energy healer, small business owner. And when elected, she will be the first out LGBTQ Iranian-American elected official in the entire United States. Sepi has been a resident of West Hollywood for over a decade. She serves on the City of West Hollywood's Lesbian and Gay Advisory Board. She's earned her bachelor's degree in accounting and master's degree from San Jose State University and doctorate in from Golden Gate in the University of Law in San Francisco. Her civil rights advocacy spans nearly 2 decades, and she serves as the co-president of the LGBT Bar Association of Los Angeles, during which she advocated for nationwide marriage equality and against Proposition 8 in Los Angeles. And on CNN, Sepi served on the board of governors for the Human Rights Campaign and currently serves as a co-chair of Community Engagement for Human Rights campaigns in Los Angeles. Welcome, Sepi.
Hi, Foojan June. Thank you so much for having me. I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. Tell me your last name and how you, because I think I chopped up your last name.
No problem. My last name is Shyne with a Y, so S-H-Y-N-E.
Beautiful. I kept calling you Shane. Beautiful. Sepi Shyne. You are going to shine, woman. You are the first of everything.
Yes,
that is awesome.
The first of everything. I have bringing a lot of diversity and inclusion to West Hollywood.
Yes, I know that I met you because we were lecturing at Parse Equality Center together about the LGBTQ conversation and about, the all of everything that happens in different types of society, different cultures. And that's where I met you. And it was a joy to get to know you. And then I got an email from you and you said you're running for a public office. Tell us about it.
Yes, absolutely. I want to bring positive change to the city of West Hollywood, diversity, inclusion, representation. I'll only be the second lesbian ever to serve in West Hollywood. West Hollywood was the first municipal city in the nation to have a gay majority, yet we've only had one lesbian in the entire 35 years that West Hollywood has been incorporated. So it's time to create change. I'm really interested in a big platform of mine is I'm pro-renter, and I want to see more affordable housing. I want West Hollywood to be number one in the nation when it comes to being a green city. I want more public safety for our residents, so these are my platforms. I want to bring community back. We're a great progressive city. We have amazing boards and commissions. We have the Lesbian Gay Advisory Board, the Russian Advisory Board, the Disabled Advisory Board, the Senior Advisory Board, Women's Advisory Board. But what's missing is the Multicultural Advisory Board, an advisory board that will bring all slices of West Hollywood together to one table so that everyone's represented and working together.
And as a small business owner, you also know the importance of lowering the barriers to entry and removing the obstacles that most of the small business owners would actually have, right?
Yes, absolutely. Another problem we're having is so many small businesses and mom and pop shops that have gone out of business in the 10 years I've been here. Historic ones, and then the newest one was Irv's Burgers, which is a historic establishment, and it just has gone out of business for the second time. It was moved first, actually. It didn't go out of business. It moved, and then now it's gone, like so many others. And we need a liaison in the city of West Hollywood who will be able to provide support to small businesses and help them through the permitting process, provide support so that they're able to voice what's going on, if they need any issues, any help, to City Hall without all of the red tape.
I know that West Hollywood has become the hip city. Everybody that I know between the age of around 16, let's say 18, all the way to 35 are insisting that they're moving to West Hollywood. How come? What's going on?
Well, we are first of all, we're called the creative city. There's a lot of creativity that's going on in West Hollywood, a lot of artists, a lot of people love to come here too because there's diversity and inclusion. This is an LGBT city, and we've just become a lot more mainstream too since a lot of the businesses such as Lisa Vanderpump's two businesses and the Abbey have just blown up, and they have TV shows that have a broad appeal. However, the problem and barrier for the youth that actually want to come and live here is the cost of living. Rent,
cost of living,
so high. We have rent control, thank goodness. However, there's a barrier to actually coming here. You're going to need, depending on if you're young and what your job is and how much money you do or don't make, you may need 3 or 4 roommates first before you can even afford to live here.
Right, that's true. That's very true. But it was interesting to me because obviously I've lived in the LA area. I've just recently moved to Orange County, but in LA area, I've moved here since 1981 from Arizona. And I remember West Hollywood was mostly known as the LGBTQ city. So people who were in gays or lesbians wanted to move there because they wanted to feel their own home so that it felt great. Now it's shifting where even people who are not part of the community of LGBT are consistently insisting to move there. And that was also interesting that the whole dynamic of the city is changing to be inclusive of anyone who really loves to live there.
Yes, it's definitely has shifted. And as far as the LGBT community, we want to make sure that people that are coming here absolutely are allies as well.
Right.
And that's why back in 10 years ago, there wasn't a need for a multicultural advisory board. But we need to bring everyone together, because our city, while is still very much an LGBT city, we have a lot of people that are moving in, and we want to make sure that everyone works together so that we have allies on both sides.
Beautiful. Now, I know that you're working also to expand the city-sponsored health services for women for gender parity. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yes, absolutely, Foojan John. We have no breastfeeding facilities in West Hollywood. We had some striking statistics just recently come out for women. We have more educated women. Women are more educated in West Hollywood, yet they make 50% less in West Hollywood. And those types of socioeconomic numbers translate directly to the lack of health services. We provide a lot of social services for the people that live in West Hollywood, go to school in West Hollywood, own property in West Hollywood, and work in West Hollywood. So you can get social services if you fall into any of those categories, or rent in West Hollywood. However, most of the services are tailored very much so towards men, and we need more services for women. What I'd like to see, for example, one of the resources for reducing STD proliferation, which is a big problem in West Hollywood. We have a higher rate of STDs than all of LA County. And we have free condoms offered at City Hall, yet we have no dental dams or programming for women that is needed. So because it's a myth that women don't spread sexually transmitted diseases to other women or to men. And whether you're in a heterosexual relationship or a gay relationship, we need more sex-positive programming and education resources for women. I want our healthcare providers to really know how to deal with women's issues and also lesbian-specific issues. A lot of times lesbians don't even go and get the care. There's a huge rate of cancers in the lesbian community because the women don't feel comfortable always going to healthcare providers. One of the first questions I'm always asked is, are you pregnant? No, I'm not pregnant. Okay. Do you use protection? So there's questions that need sensitivity,
right?
For the lesbian community and specifically for the transgender community, which is crucial right now. So
Yes.
I want that gender parity taken into account when we create programming and when we work with healthcare providers and the general public as well.
Sepi, you've also mentioned that not only that you were addressing the housing crisis, but you're also fighting against climate disasters for West Hollywood. Say more about that in 1 minute because our time is ending. So can you tell us about that real quick?
Absolutely, and it goes hand in hand with affordable housing. A great way to address the climate disaster issues is building high-density housing near transit stops. It gets people off the road, it gets people into affordable housing, and it kills two birds with one stone. So we need a plan to have more of affordable housing near transit stops and expand our access to metro. We don't necessarily need more parking spots. We need more people off the road, out of their cars, using public transit and bringing metro through West Hollywood.
Wonderful. Where can people find you if they want to know about you?
Absolutely. People can go on my website at sepishyne.com, S-E-P as in Peter I, Shine with a Y, SHYNE.com. You can volunteer, send an email if you have more questions, donate to the campaign, and we'd love any and all of that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sepi. It was great talking to you. And I can't vote for you over there, but whomever has the ability to vote for you, then I hope that they get to know you more. Take care. Thank you.
Foojan. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And for everyone, Have an amazing, amazing week. Create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. I'll see you next Monday.
The Inner Voice Show is a dialogue between the host and the listeners about their relationships. This show is not an attempt to assess, diagnose, or treat any mental health or illness condition. Please consult your physician, psychiatrist, or psychotherapist for personal matters.
News, talk, and sports for the Inland Empire. AM 1490 KMET, Fanning, Beaumont, Redlands.
I'm Darian.